Anansi the spider, the trickster of Ghanaian folklore. The small creature with a big brain, a tiny body, yet a tongue sharper than any blade. His name drifts through the villages, whispered in the evenings when the fire burns low and children gather close, eyes wide, ears ready, waiting for the next tale that will teach, entertain, confuse, and enlighten all at once. For Anansi is never just a spider. He is wisdom and foolishness wrapped together, courage and cowardice knotted tight, greed and generosity battling within the same web. And it is in this duality that his legend has lived for centuries, carried by griots and mothers, by elders and wanderers. And today it is carried still long before the world was as it is before the iron birds flew in the skies and machines roared across the land. The people of Ghana and beyond told of the gods who shaped life, the spirits who ruled the rivers and forests, and in this vast tapestry of belief was a peculiar spider who dared to challenge all. Anansi, small yet unyielding, weak in appearance yet boundless in cunning, always ready to spin his silk of words and bind even the strongest of men, kings or even gods. For what Anansi lacked in strength he made up for in wit, and wit in a world of giants can be sharper than swords. Now the story begins not with a single trick, but with Anansi's desire for stories themselves. For in the old times all tales belonged to Nyame, the sky god, and Nyame kept them locked away in his great calabash high above the clouds, refusing to share them freely with humankind, and so the evenings were empty. No riddles for children, no tales for elders to pass wisdom, no laughter echoing around the fire, only silence, heavy silence, until Anansi looked upward and thought, why should the sky god hoard these treasures? Why should I not claim them and bring them down so the people may know joy? It was madness, some said, for who could bargain with Nyame, whose voice was thunder and whose glance was lightning? Yet Anansi was no ordinary creature. He climbed up the tallest silk thread he could spin, spinning and climbing, climbing and spinning, until he reached Nyame's court, where the sky god sat in majesty, surrounded by clouds as white as cotton and stars as bright as jewels. And there Anansi spoke, not trembling but bold. Nyame, I wish to buy the stories you hold. I wish to take them to earth so the people may share in them. The sky roared with laughter, for Nyame found the idea absurd. You, little spider, you wish to own what even kings fear to ask for. Very well, but the price shall be high. Too high for you, for if you truly want my stories, you must capture and deliver to me 4 creatures who wander the earth. Onini the python, who is longer than rivers. Osebo the leopard, whose jaws crush bones. Moatia the fairy, who is sly and invisible. And the swarm of hornets that sting like fire. Bring me these, and only then will the stories be yours. The gods laughed, the winds laughed, but Anansi did not laugh. His 8 eyes glimmered with thought. For impossible challenges are the favorite meals of tricksters, and he knew that if he succeeded, the whole world would speak his name forever. Anansi descended, silk thread unraveling behind him, and upon the earth he began his hunt. Yet he did not hunt with spears or nets, no. He hunted with tricks, and his first target was Onini the python, whose body twisted through the forests, feared by all. But Anansi came carrying a palm branch and whispering loudly to his wife Aso, knowing Onini would overhear. Wife, I wonder if Onini is longer than this palm branch or shorter. Surely he is shorter, for no creature could be so long. And Aso played her part, arguing, no, he is longer, far longer. Your branch is nothing compared to his length. Onini, curious and proud, slid closer. What are you arguing about, tiny spider, for I am longer than any tree branch, do not insult me. And Anansi, feigning doubt, said, prove it then. Lie beside this branch so I may see with my own eyes. And Onini, eager to show his might, stretched himself alongside the branch, twisting his body long and straight, and before he realized, Anansi had tied him tightly with his silk, binding him fast, and with that, Anansi carried the mighty python to Nyame's court. Next, Anansi went after Osebo the leopard, whose claws were sharp as blades and whose growl shook the earth. But Anansi dug a deep pit in the forest and covered it with leaves, and when Osebo came prowling, his paws struck emptiness, and he fell into the pit, trapped, roaring and scratching at the walls. And Anansi approached carefully, saying, "O mighty leopard, What misfortune! But I will help you. Let me tie this rope around you so I may pull you free." And Osebo, desperate, agreed, and once bound, he was helpless, dragged away as Anansi's second prize. Then came Moatia the fairy, small but powerful, invisible to most. Yet Anansi had a plan. He carved a little doll from wood, covered it in gum, and placed it beneath a fruit tree, then sprinkled the ground with sweet food. And when Moatia came to eat, Anansi spoke through the doll, greeting politely, "Good day." But when the fairy responded and received silence, anger grew. She slapped the doll, but her hand stuck. She kicked, her legs stuck. She fought, her whole body stuck to the gum, and Anansi stepped forward, laughing, binding her as his third catch. Lastly, the hornets, fierce and countless, whose sting brought agony, yet Anansi knew their weakness. He filled a calabash with water, poured some upon himself, and cut a leaf to cover his head like a roof, then splashed water upon the hornet's nest, crying, "Oh brothers, the rain is coming. Hurry, hide in this calabash or you will drown." And the hornets, deceived, swarmed into the calabash seeking shelter, and Anansi sealed it shut, carrying them away, his final prize. He returned to Niame, presenting each capture, the python, the leopard, the fairy, the hornets, and Niame, stunned, could not deny the bargain. "You have done the impossible, Anansi. The stories are now yours. Go and share them with the world." And so Anansi became the keeper of stories, the weaver of tales, the trickster whose cunning won wisdom for humankind. And from that day, when the fire crackles and children gather, his name is invoked for every story begins. This is a tale of Anansi. But Anansi did not stop there. Oh no, for his hunger for tricks was endless, and he spun countless webs of mischief. Sometimes he outwitted his enemies, sometimes he outwitted himself, for greed often blinded him. And though he was clever, he was also foolish, his schemes sometimes collapsing upon his own head, reminding listeners that wisdom and folly walk side by side, and none can claim one without the other. Anansi's legacy spread beyond Ghana, carried by enslaved Africans across the Atlantic, where he became Aunt Nancy in the Caribbean, Briar Spider in the Americas, his tales reshaped yet alive, symbols of resistance, of wit against power, of survival through laughter, teaching that even in bondage the mind could remain free, the spirit unbroken, the trickster eternal. And so the spider spins still, across oceans and centuries, his web glistening with stories that entangle gods, men, and children alike, reminding us that small does not mean powerless, that words can bind tighter than chains, that laughter can carry wisdom deeper than sermons, and that in every corner of the world where stories are told, Anansi waits, smiling, ready to trick again.